Man, can't tell me nothing about this crypto. This O-Day, these forensics, strictly for my hackers. Hackers on the grind, I ain't forget you. All my port scanners, all my SQL injectors, my exploit devs. I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to these bits. Man page for the manual, a step-by-step booklet for you to get your back doors patched, not your house ransacked. Rule number uno, never let no one know how much code you hold, cause you know the 0-day heap will spray, clear the way if their log file touch, get your hard line cut. Number 2, never let them know your next move. Don't you know bad boys move in silence and pirate, taken from your wireless. I done flashed mad chips with these hacks just to patch these bits. Number 3, never trust nobody. IRC is bad luck when you chat too much. Logged and tapped up, feds got mass plugs. They'll be waiting with the warrant to snatch your stash up. Number 4, know you've heard this before. Shut the Number 5, never do no hacks where you rest at. I don't care if you own a house, use a bounce. Number 6, any log, clear text, forget it. Encrypt all your data, take those bytes off the record. 7, this rule is so underrated. Keep identities and profiles completely separated. Cookies and lies don't mix like 2 bits in one snitch. Find yourself Guantanamo quick. Number 8, never keep no weight on you. Those cats that run your hacks can jack coins too. Number 9 should have been number 1 to me. Use your right to your attorney, keep away from police. If people think you're talking, they won't give an option. They'll be hopping on your box and ready to start doxing. Number 10, shut the actual up. The easiest of rules, but it still bears repeating, cause you'll want the recognition for your revenue increasing. Discard accounts, randomized handles. Law enforcement loves attacks on side channels. Burn your identities, credit card cancel. Avoid being the topic of a DEF CON panel. Don't bet your future on just a few tools. Even onion sites can have leaks too. Be smart about your OPSEC, think things through. They found DPR, they'll come find you. It's true, Hack King. Use Signal, use Tor.
So this started last year, we were doing it this year.
Not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo. Even out, settle scores quick. A disaster recovery requires even more disks. Put your bytes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M-Bison with 8 straight perfects. Overrolled emotions make hate break circuits. In case you heard, it's a named fake service. Optimize our runtime to escape verdicts. Got an integer scope flow that they can't sign. Passing code, didn't sanitize command lines, landmine. So before they'll see me after, I'm advice star, courage, woke plus velociraptor. Don't prove we're human unless we really have to. My team built schemes that destroy, recapture. Hate what they see, finish this chapter. By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. I'm just waiting till my BlackBerry dies, cause I'll replace it with the Raspberry Pi. Don't compare to this track, it makes everything they said dull. Neutralize any threat, turn Red Skull to Dev Null. They killed virus writers that we mentioned, but instead they ascended to the VX heavens, then reincarnate as live wires. Still inside we hide ciphers and sign device drivers. Which school will we hit next? They didn't learn the format, so we've got a print F. Next step is a chin check. Freestyles that I spit best, they didn't decrypt yet. I crush internet MCs and rhyme battles. Get your Wi-Fi tackled, hacked by pineapple. I don't think you'll like my Snapple, cause I popped it with vodka in a cyanide capsule. We drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink.
And it is time. What is up, everybody? Hey, welcome to my live stream. If this is one of your first times here, super excited to have you here. Let me share real jeez, I can't talk. Let me share real briefly what you have stumbled across. My name is Tyler. I am a pen tester by day, make some ethical hacking content at night occasionally, and wanted to jump on stream, hang out with you guys, do some hacking together. Also want to let you know that I'm live right now on 3 different platforms. You can join on whichever platform works best for you, but I am live right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. On YouTube and LinkedIn, you can just find me under my name, Tyler Ramsbey. And over on Twitch, I stream under the name Hack_Smarter. So YouTube and LinkedIn, Tyler Ramsbey, Twitch is Hack Smarter. I have all the chat in one spot via Restream, so I'll keep my eye on the chat. Really a time to hang out, interact. Let me pull up the chat and scroll up. We got Zero Cool getting first blood on chat. Good to have you here, my friend. We got, GoPro Slow Yo, the OG in chat. Good to have you here. We got Ringo. We got Coco. We got Missy Reeds, we got Monte Sunday, we got Saint Stephen, we got Muhammad, we got Tony B, we got Brew, we got John Doe. Scrolling, see anyone new? Paris Gatsby, if I'm saying that right. Tony B. Password 123. Can you try my web app CTF today? That's not the plan, but hey, if we have time, I'll check it out. We got Real Haberman. Good to have all of you here. And it looks like a bunch of people haven't said anything in the chat. We have almost 40 people from the different platforms. So if you are watching and you haven't said hello in the chat, say hi. Would love to hear from you. Let me know where you're joining from. Also, if anyone is joining for the very first live stream, your first live stream, let me know in the chat. Would love to hear from you. But our plan for today is one machine that I've had multiple people DM me about is that, well, it's no longer really new now, but there was a Try Hack Me machine called Rabbit something. I don't even remember. I haven't looked at it at all, but I've had multiple Discord messages saying, hey, you should do this machine next time you're on stream. So we'll give it a shot. Looking over at chat, Indian from the South. Hello, Tyler. What is up? Lou Dogs, I just want to say I've watched you for a couple years now, and by far you have helped me understand and get further learning. Hey, thank you so much for the kind words. Lady the Killer said, my first stream. Well, hey, super excited to have you hanging out with us. We got Crazy Horse. We got Guru. I can't say your full name, but from India. That's amazing. Hoi Manoy. Real Haberman. First live stream watching from Toronto. So cool. Yeah, Rabbit Store, Zero Cool. That's what I'm thinking. How's my night? My night's going well. Let's see. What have I done tonight? We went to a pizza buffet, me, my wife, and kids, so that was fun. Got home, and where I live, it's been super cold out, but it's like 50 degrees, which where I live, that's a heat wave. So spent the evening outside with my kids, playing on our play set in the backyard and all that good stuff. So got them put to bed, got about an hour of boxing cardio in, jumped in the shower, jumped back out, jumped on my computer, and here we are. So night is going well. Thanks for asking. What up, Brandon from North Carolina? Usually just lurk. Well, it's good to have you here. Coco said, did the entire course. Really interesting watching you walk through to learn even more. Thank you. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I have a course called Introduction to Hacking Methodology. You can find it on Simply Cyber Academy, and it is completely free. No strings attached. If you're on my YouTube channel, I'm guessing you've heard of that course. If not, just go to my channel, go to my videos, and you'll be able to find that course. Sup, Tyler, can you give us your opinion on Windows hacking versus Linux hacking? Which do you enjoy the most? It's a good question. I say as far as which one I enjoy the most, maybe Windows, only because Windows is at least a little more rare than Linux. Linux CTF machines are easier to make than Windows, at least from my experience of making machines, and it seems like most machines are Linux. So when I do a Windows one, I enjoy it because I just tend to learn a little bit more doing like the Windows Prevesc and all that good stuff. Why do you help people in this way? Well, that's a good question. So maybe let me give a little bit of context, because I know we have a few people who are brand new to the stream. Let me get a few things pulled up. And also, let me invite you all to my Discord server, and I'll very quickly give you kind of my philosophy for everything you see me doing here. So, step number 1. If you're watching on Twitch or LinkedIn, that's awesome, but my primary platform is YouTube. So I use Twitch and LinkedIn to live stream, but all my videos and content can be found on YouTube. You can see I have over 500 videos here on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to me on YouTube, you should. So let me drop the link there. Come and subscribe to me on YouTube. Really would appreciate it. Second link is Hack Smarter. hacksmarter.org. This is how you get to the Hack Smarter computer terminal. Let me drop that link as well. And from the Hack Smarter terminal, you can do different commands. So if you want to get an invite to our Discord server, we can just cat discord.txt, and that is going to give you the invite to our Discord server. On our Discord server, we have a CTF team open to all experience levels. We have career coaching at a donate what you can price, not to us, but to a nonprofit of your choice. We have multiple weekly goal meetings that help you set goals and really grow in your career. We have study groups for Try Hack Me certs, TCM certs, OffSec certs, Portswigger certs. I'm sure I'm missing some, but we have study groups for all of the main certs. And the thing about both my channel and the Hack Smarter community is nothing is behind a paywall. So I am of the philosophy that ethical hacking and cybersecurity education should not just be for a privileged few who are able to afford it. I believe that this type of content and this type of education should be accessible to anyone and everyone. And so that is my goal, both with my free course I created, but also with my YouTube channel, is I just want to give back and help people break into the field. So one other resource I'll share with you guys before we officially get started is my free course. If we go to Simply Cyber Academy, right here, here's my introduction to hacking methodology. And very much an introduction, but if you're new to these things, you'll find this course super helpful. And like I said, it's completely free, no strings attached. Let me drop the link to that course as well. So the reason I do what I do is just as a way of giving back. I make enough money doing my day job, which is I hack stuff for a living, which is crazy, but I make enough money doing my day job. I don't need to try to make money from the community. So everything I do is a way of giving back to the community. All right, now let me scroll up and see what I might be missing. Watching, thank you. What do I think of the ECIH cert? We'll do Q&A, guys, for just a few more minutes, then I want to jump to the actual hacking. I don't even know what that cert is, to be honest with you. Oh, I'll be blunt. I don't like anything from EC Council. They have a bad reputation due to plagiarism and some things like that. So anything from EC Council I tend to ignore. Now, I do know that there are some organizations that ask for EC Council certs. At least I'm thinking of the right people, right? These are the certified ethical hacking people, yeah. So anything from them I don't recommend. What up, Subaru? What up, Steve from San Diego? What up, the Dolphin from the land down under? Good to have you here. Yes, I do have content Simply Cyber. Yeah, so we got Huntress. It's actually not a gift from John Hammond. I mean, John should send me a gift, but no. So this shirt is from the Hack Smarter CTF team. I would say but I had nothing to do with it. But the Hack Smarter CTF team placed in like the top 10 or something for a Huntress CTF. And as a result, everyone on the team got a free Huntress t-shirt. And the team captain was generous enough to say, hey, Tyler, do you want one? And I was like, yes, of course I do. So that's from the Hack Smarter CTF team when they place in the top 10 on the Huntress CTF. You make a roadmap of books to study for those who are at the basics? Maybe. Not today, but maybe. All right, guys. Let's get some things pulled up. Let's get some hacking. Don't know how long I'm going to be on tonight. Let me stop sharing my screen. We'll go for at least an hour. We'll hang out, chill. Now, for those of you new to my streams, this is very much a relaxed stream. So we hang out, we chat, we hack our way through things, but happy to answer questions as we go, to explain things. I try to make everything very beginner friendly. All right, here we are. And also, if you haven't heard of the new cert, you can check it out. I have a video about it. I should, let me answer a few questions real quick on this, because I've gotten some pushback. With some of it rightly so, okay? So let me pull up my video. Oh, thank you, Diego. That's awesome. So if you type try hack me Sal 1. There's my video. It's gotten like 12,000 views in 2 days, which is crazy. I think it's the most popular video outside of Mad Hat about the Sal 1 certification. Now, a little bit of context on this, because I know you guys have all heard of the SAL 1 certification. And a lot of people are like, first, how did these freaking content creators come out with a video the moment it released talking about the certification? Well, it's not really a secret, but TryHackMe reached out to a handful of us. I have no idea who they all reached out to, and gave us early access to the cert and to read all about it and to understand what was going on with the certification. So I knew about this cert probably a month before it released. And actually, their first landing page for this cert, there were things in it that I thought were not accurate. So I pushed back. I was like, hey, you guys need to make this changes. Like, you aren't accurately describing Hack the Box and some other things as far as pricing goes. And they actually did listen and make those changes. But what I can say is all these videos that came out right when the cert released, at least the ones that came out right away, are sponsored by TryHackMe. So for those of you new to like the YouTube space, once you have a certain amount of, I don't know, platform, I have no idea where this level is at, but organizations like TryHackMe will reach out to you and say, hey, we have this cert coming out, or we have this whatever event coming out. Can we sponsor a video on your channel? And generally what that looks like is they'll pay you money, anywhere from maybe $500. Some organizations will pay up to $2,000, $3,000, depending on the size of your channel. And then you will generally create a script, and you'll show like, hey, this is the script. This is what I'm going to talk about on the video. You submit it to the organization. They approve the script, and then you make the sponsored video for that organization. Now, I'm not mad at all at people who do sponsored videos. Most of my really good friends do. And I'm friends with Network Chuck, out of all people. You may have seen me on his channel, and he is like the king of monetization. So truly, I'm not mad at other people who do sponsored videos, but I don't do them just for my personal philosophy. I think when there's so much sponsored content, it's really hard to wade through what is true and what a content creator is making a video about, because they're getting paid to make the video about it. So anyways, TryHackMe reached out to me and said, hey, Tyler, basically we'll sponsor a channel or sponsor a video on your channel. And I told them, look, I don't do sponsorships on purpose, so no, I don't want you to pay me, but I still really believe in your mission. So I'll make a video about the certification, give you my honest thoughts, but of course, I'm not going to let them review it ahead of time. I'm just going to release it and just give my thoughts on it. So my video was not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by TryHackMe, with kind of a weird exception. I asked TryHackMe if I could have some vouchers to give away back to the community, and they generously did that. So they gave me 2 SAL 1 vouchers to give back to the community. If you did not see the form for that, you can find that on the Hack Smarter Discord server. I'll be doing the drawing next week, likely Wednesday, when I jump on stream. So I got those vouchers to give away, but the rest of my video was not sponsored. But I had people in my comment section saying I was lying about it being sponsored. So just to be very clear, the video definitely wasn't sponsored. But the thing that people are pushing back on, which I think is valid, so let me give you just some real quick thoughts on this. One is, and they maybe have reworded this, I'm not sure if they did. Let me scroll through. Oh, is this the actual landing page? This looks different. Did they update the landing page? Oh, no. Okay, here we go. Here's the landing page I was looking for. So it says the defensive certification that gets you hired. Now, I want to be clear. I don't think any certification gets you hired. Whether it's the OSCP, the CDSA, the SAL 1, certs only get you so far in this industry, and the field is oversaturated. So anyone selling you a pipe dream saying that if you do this thing, you're guaranteed to get a job, you should not be listening to them, because you're not guaranteed to get a job. My recommendation for getting into the field is, yes, get some of these certs like the SAL 1, but that's not what's going to get you the job. What's going to get you the job is networking and building your own platform. I started my YouTube channel 3 years ago. I just had the 3-year anniversary because I wanted to become a pen tester, but I did not have experience. And I thought, hey, I'll just make a YouTube channel and share what I'm learning. And through this, I've been able to meet some amazing people and build a really cool community around some of this content. And because of that, I know that if I lost my job right now, I could likely get another job pretty quickly just based on my networking and being friends with various people in the industry. So truly, certs are not going to get you hired. They might get you to the interview, maybe, but what's going to get you hired is demonstrating some type of platform, whether that's a YouTube channel or a blog or a GitHub or doing security research. So that's one thing that people push back on that I agree with, and I should have been more clear in my video about that. The other thing that people push back on was this table right here. Now, when we look at this, we have, so first, I understand TriHackMe's perspective, okay? The CYSA, for example, does not prepare you to work in a SOC. It's a multiple choice exam, but it is trusted by millions. It's CompTIA, it's entry level. I think it is entry level, so I disagree with that part right there. The Blue Team level 1 right there, I've never taken that certification. Cannot speak in that certification, don't have any experience with it. Based on the comments, it does get you ready to work in a SOC, so I can understand why some people might be frustrated that TriHackMe said it doesn't, all right? But I really can't speak on Blue Team Level 1 purely because I haven't done it. I don't know what the content is. The CDSA by Hack the Box is an incredible certification. More in-depth than the SAL 1, very much not entry-level. I think they advertise as entry-level, but nothing from Hack the Box is entry-level. But the CDSA would definitely prepare you to work in a SOC. Now, the reason I think that TriHackMe says they don't have job-ready SOC experience is TriHackMe's big thing is a SOC simulator, which is actually really cool. It simulates being in a SOC, triaging alerts, writing reports, and doing investigation on a VM and everything like that. The CDSA doesn't simulate a SOC, but it covers all of the full incident response process in more detail than probably TriHackMe does. So I also see why people are frustrated on that does give you job-ready SOC experience. So I get this. I totally get people's frustration here, and I don't think I did a good enough job when I made my video explaining some of those differences. I kind of glossed over it and didn't fully understand how upset some people might be, and honestly, rightfully so. Outside of that, I do think it's a solid certification. But real quick correction on that. Would love to hear your guys' feedback on those things. And let me go at chat. Then we're going to get to some hacking. Blondu said, the problem is cert fatigue, man. The people have been told to get this cert, get that cert, only to find out none of it really matters. Your video on getting the CV, on the other hand, great advice. Exactly. Like, that's the part that I think TriHackMe should change. This thing up here. There is no defensive certification that will get you hired. There just isn't. That's facts. Has my stints in WGU changed as I've been in the field? No, I'm super happy I went to WGU. I got my bachelor's in cyber at WGU. What I love about WGU is their competency-based education, focused on getting industry-level certifications rather than passing a silly in-house exam. I love WGU. But okay, all of that aside, the next person who's on my video like, you didn't say this, well, I'm just going to point them to this live stream. But some of the comments were just silly. Like, let's see if I can find some of them. I'll just we'll publicly shame them. Just because I have the power to do that, because I'm the one on here. And then I promise we'll eventually get to the hacking. What's this? Oh, there we go. I'm in a VM right now, which is why it looks kind of buggy when you try to play video. I don't want the video to actually play. All right, I made these clarifications here. Whoops, I don't want to reply to myself. And maybe I'm just overemphasizing the negativity, because this actually all looks positive. There's only a few people that were negative. I can't even find it. This one I get. This is a friend of mine. He works over at Hack the Box. I found his comments helpful, and I responded to him. There was one person saying that my video is clearly sponsored, but I can't find that now. And I do say, guys, I read all the comments on my videos, and I really do read all the comments on my videos. I'm not sure if I should. Oh, here's the person. Whoever the frick Lab Monkey K2J is, I'm calling you out. I'm not sponsored. Then his face turned up on THM website. I'm definitely not sponsored, you douchebag. Do some study before you say things like that. Like, I don't want people to say that when I'm legit not getting paid, okay? If I'm going to be accused of being sponsored, I should just accept the money and be sponsored. Let's see, there's some other ones. Oh, well, who cares? There's too many comments on this video. The other comment was someone saying that I have an affiliate link in my video. So there's this thing right here. I don't really know how it all works, but it's like a tracking link. So if you click this, then TryHackMe knows how many people went from my video to the landing page, but it's not an affiliate link. So if you buy the Sal1 voucher, I don't get any money out of that. Like, I have affiliate links for TryHackMe, HackTheBox, TCM Security, and some other platforms, but on purpose, I don't share any of my affiliate links because, once again, I don't want to kick back. I don't want it to look like I'm trying to make money off of whatever platform you choose to use. I just want to give you my honest thoughts and then allow you to make your own choices. But okay, hopefully I cleared that up. Speaking of TryHackMe, though, we are going to do some TryHackMe, but this video is not sponsored by TryHackMe. Look at chat. Have you faced burnout with creating content? I have a hard time keeping up with my blog. I wanted to originally do a write-up a week, but sometimes it takes too long. I have, and that's honestly why you may have not seen me be so active on live streaming recently. There was a time, I think in the beginning of the year, I live streamed like 12 days in a row, and then I brought it down to like once a week, and there's been a few weeks where I haven't streamed at all. Part of that is I'm making some offline content. I've been doing interviews for our YouTube channels. I made the course for Simply Cyber Academy. I run the Hack Smarter Discord. And then the only time I can stream, guys, is late at night. So like other content creators, they can jump on stream in the middle of the day or right when they get off work. I just can't do that. I work during the day. I have a wife. I have 2 young kids. And there's no way I can stream when my kids are awake because they're right above my head and they are loud. So the only time I can stream is after working a full day of work and then hanging out with my wife and 2 young kids. And anyone else who is a parent of young kids, I have an 8-year-old and 5-year-old, that in and of itself is a full-time job. So after doing all of that, that's the only time I have to make content after an entirely full day. So yes, I totally get that. It is a struggle to be consistent. It's a lot harder than it looks. Hey Cash, I have a video on my YouTube channel. I'll just point you to that. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's called How to Become an Ethical Hacker in 2024. I know it's 2025, but that content will apply, so check out that video. Crazy Source said, CPT has helped me. By that I mean that it gave me lots of things needed to get hired as a tester. The report I had to write for CPTS was key, helped me on the challenger for the job in the report. That is awesome. Chad, is Black Hat event ticket price worth it? I've never been to Black Hat. I'm going to say no. You should accept some kickbacks and give them something to talk about. I should. You're the most anti-sponsor guy I've ever seen. Exactly. So when people were like, this video is sponsored, he's lying to us. No, I'm not freaking lying to you. If I took sponsors, I'd make a lot more money from this stuff. My YouTube costs me money. I give back so much of my time and my money to the community that I literally don't make any money from this. It is probably a net negative. You can watch my video. I try to be very transparent with these things, but if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a video called like behind the scenes of 30,000 subscribers, and I give you my full profit, like everything I make from YouTube, and it'll be sad when you see it. Like, YouTube doesn't pay well unless you do sponsors, but I don't do sponsors on purpose. All right, Rabbit Store. This is the machine that people have been telling me to start. Let me get this machine launched up, get my notes started up, and then we'll dive into things. Start machine. I need to stop sharing my screen while I get my notes ready. I get authenticated to Notion for my notes. Do. All right, let's go ahead and make a page for this. I use Notion for my notes if you're wondering, and for some reason it's being very slow. So hopefully that changes, and this machine is called Rabbit Store. So we'll do Rabbit Store THM, and we'll get our notes set up. Now, one thing I always recommend when you work through a room like this is always make sure you're in the habit of taking notes as you work through a machine. Not only will it help you if you land a job as a pen tester, but it will just help you remember everything that you did, and then you can always refer back to your notes when you discover something that looks familiar to you. The other thing I need to do is get on the TryHackMe VPN, so let me pull up my terminal, CD over to downloads, and sudo open VPN. If I could type. I got too many of these VPN files. I apparently regenerated my VPN a bunch of times. I think that's the right one. We'll rename this VPN. Open up a new tab, rename this one terminal, CD over to my Try Hack Me folder, and let's make a directory for Rabbit Store, CD into Rabbit Store, and there we go. All right, Rabbit Store v3. What information do we have here? Now, once again, for those of you who might just be jumping into the live stream, my name is Tyler, and when I do these live streams, I don't prep ahead of time. So I just had a few DMs on Discord saying, hey, Tyler, you should check out Rabbit Store. I have not done it, have no idea what to expect. I'm going into this completely blind. So would encourage you to do this right alongside of me. I don't know if this is a free machine. Oh, it is. Cool. So do this with me, y'all. Let's learn together. My plan is not to finish this machine today. I can almost guarantee we won't finish it. It's medium, so we'll probably get some enumeration done, but I don't think I'll probably finish it tonight. All right, wait for 5 minutes after clicking the Start Machine button. Got it. For free users, it's recommended to use their own VMware system because some website components require internet access to fetch certain files. And we're just looking for user.txt and root.txt. So we're not given too much information. Let's grab a drink of water while we wait the full 5 minutes. I think we have like 1 more minute to go. Knox says, hey, just want to preface, the priv estimate is a little less awesome than the user. All right, gotcha. That's fine. Okay. We have our IP pulled up. And one thing I've been experimenting with my standalone machine or my standalone videos is rather than re-recording the machine, a walkthrough for it is splicing up these live streams and lightly editing it. So I'm going to start recording for the YouTube side of things. And this is the video that I will edit eventually whenever I finish this machine. So let me go ahead and do that. Here, I'm going to go here. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, it's going to be a detailed walkthrough of the Rabbit Store machine on Try Hack Me. Now, I've been experimenting with something a little bit different. Before, what I would do is I would solve these machines live on stream, stumble around, make a bunch of silly mistakes, and once I solved it, I would make a shorter standalone video for my YouTube channel where I give you the video walkthrough, so the live stream and the standalone video. Well, instead of like redoing the machine twice, I'm trying to lightly edit the live stream so it's not, 6 hours long of me banging my head against my keyboard, but still give you a glimpse into my full methodology and thought process and mistakes that I make. So if this video jumps around a little bit, I apologize for that, but that is on purpose so that you aren't just staring at me forever. If you want to see the full attempt at me going through this machine, I honestly don't know how many days it will take me, but the first day that we are doing this is on February 27th. So go back to my live tab, find February 27th, and you can pick up and see the entire thing in all of its glory, all of its messiness, and all of its mistakes. That being said, let me go ahead and share my screen and we will dive into this. So we have our target IP address. I already launched the machine and gave it 5 minutes to start, but that's everything I've done. So now I am going to go into it blind. We're going to go ahead and grab our IP address, and I see some questions in chat. I'll get to you guys' questions in just a moment, but we're going to grab the IP, and the first thing we're going to do is save it to what's called etc host on the Linux machine. Now, etc host is how Linux resolves an IP address to a domain name. I like to think of it as the phone book on your phone. If you're going to call your friend John, you don't need to remember John's phone number. You just type John's name into your phone, and your phone book resolves his name to his phone number. Well, that's sort of what etc host does. So we don't have to remember the IP. We're going to add a Rabbit Store to our etc host file. So when we search for rabbitstore.thm, it will pull up the IP. Now, to do that, we're just going to do sudo nano etc host, like so. Type in our password, and then we'll go down to the bottom of our file, and I'm going to paste in the IP, hit tab, and we'll call it rabbitstore.thm, and Control X, Y, enter. Now, if we ping rabbitstore.thm, we should be able to ping it, and we can. So now we don't need to remember the IP. We just know it as rabbitstore.thm. Now, our next step is we want to do some enumeration. Specifically, we want to see what ports are open on this machine because that helps us determine what our attack path is going to be. Now, you can use just plain nmap for this. I like to use rustscan just because it's easy to remember the syntax for those of you who might be newer to doing CTFs. So with rustscan, we can just do rustscan -a rabbitstore.thm, and then we want to say any open ports that you find, pass it over to nmap, and then run the -A flag with nmap on all those open ports. And the -A flag with nmap means throw all the enumeration scripts at it, and let's see what services and things might be running on these ports. All right, let me look at chat, see what I am missing here. The next big thing said, when will you stream Hack the Box retired machines? You know, I've kind of gotten away from Hack the Box retired machines. Instead, I've been doing a lot of VulnLab. I really enjoy VulnLab. We're doing Try Hack Me tonight because of recommendations. The reason I don't do Hack the Box retired machines is because I think those are already covered really well by people like IPSec. I don't know what value more I can add to that. When did I start learning hacking? Well, I got into hacking actually when I was a teenager. Like I was like 12, 13 years old when I first started getting into hacking, but didn't actually start working in IT itself till about 4 years ago. Yeah, I agree. GoPro Slowyo said it's better on Twitch for live streaming. Yeah. So actually Twitch, in my opinion, does have better quality than YouTube when it comes to live streaming. And I just realized I forgot to change something. Dang it. So there's I don't think I can change it while I'm in midstream. I bet I can't. No, I can't. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when I switch to like a page, and maybe it doesn't look this way for you or not, but I've been having this issue where it's almost like blurry right away, like it doesn't switch very well, and I realize it's because of a setting I have in OBS that's compressing the video when I switch. I know how to fix it, but I forgot to fix it before jumping on this stream. So if it looks a little bit blurry as I switch between windows, I apologize. I do know how to fix it. I just can't fix it midstream right now. Zero Cool says, as soon as you complete this machine, give us your opinion about the difficulty. Okay, I will. Absolutely. So it looks like this machine has some rabbit holes, which makes sense when it's called the Rabbit Store. Hey Tyler, I have some coding background, but I don't like intense coding as required in software development. Which cybersecurity job should I apply for? Will red teaming do? So red team and pen testing are different. Red team means like advanced pen testing. You could go for pen testing. You don't need to know how to program to be a pen tester. It's helpful if you can write some basic scripts, but especially with AI now, you don't need to know how to program. As long as you understand how to read code and understand what's going on and modify code when needed. What OBS setting? It's something about the output format. I have it to like match source, and you don't want to have it match source or something like that when I was looking into it. Why is rustscan so much faster than nmap? Is it the code? I don't know. And, you know, I don't even know if it's actually faster than nmap. Generally, if you use the right flags on nmap, you can make nmap just as fast. And so, I don't know. It's all user preference, in my opinion. All right, we have some weird ports. Okay, so that's interesting right away. Let's grab these ports and go ahead and start filling out our notes. So we're going to do an H1 for enumeration, and we'll drop our nmap scan. We'll add a code block. In Notion, you can do a code block with 3 backticks, 1, 2, 3, and we'll go ahead and paste this in like that. I like to separate the ports in here like that. And the reason I'm doing H1 and everything, the cool thing about Notion is you can do a table of contents. So it / I don't know why this is being so slow. Table of contents, and we'll be able to see everything that we're doing. So now that we have our nmap scan done, there's a few things we want to do. One is let's just go through each one of these ports one by one and do thorough enumeration to see what we are able to find. Sometimes what we find on one port might be useful for another port as we poke at things. So let's see what the heck is open on these very strange ports. I mean, 22 and 80 are normal, but I don't know what the frick these two ports are. Let's go ahead and do an H2. and we will call this SSH 22. Now, SSH generally isn't going to be your way in, but one thing I always check is whether or not password authentication is enabled. Best security practice means key-based auth should only be allowed, so if it allows password-based authentication, then we know if we find a password or a user, we should try password reuse. It's super easy to check. We can just do SSH root at rabbitstore.thm, hit yes, and it asks for a password. So that means password auth is enabled. If we were doing an actual pen test, that would be an informational or a low finding that we would report to the client. So we'll say password auth is enabled. And we'll want to keep that in mind. But that's about the extent of testing for SSH. Let's go ahead and look at port 80. We have a lot more things we can do with port 80. So we'll do an H2 if Notion would work on 80. And there's a few things I always like to do with port 80 or a web server. Number one is we'll run dir search against it to see what directories might be hidden, and we'll make a code block for that. We'll also run a vhost fuzzer against it to see if there's any virtual hosts that might be running. And then we'll just go ahead and look at website functionality. Geez, I can't spell. Functionality and source code like that. We'll go ahead and kick these scans off, and then we'll look at the website itself. So let's get these scans running. We'll name this tab dir search. We'll do dir search -u http rabbitstore.thm. Did I actually see a website on here? So I saw this right here. It said did not redirect to cloudsite.thm. So what this means is we actually are going to want to add cloudsite.thm to our Etsy host file so we can resolve the proper IP. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Sudo nano Etsy host. And that was right here. What was it called? Cloudsite.thm. There we go, ping cloudsite.thm. All right, so that's actually what we're going to want to run our dir search against. All right, there we go, and we'll get our vhost fuzzer running as well. You can get this from my GitHub over at Tenebrae93. It's just a wraparound for FUF because I always forget the difference for FUF. So let's go ahead and grab that. I think I have mine at tools, vhost fuzzer. Yeah, there it is. Domain is going to be cloudsite.thm. Word list, we'll just use user share word list. Dirbuster, directory list 2.3, medium.txt. URL is going to be cloudsite.thm. FS filter, we don't know what that is, so we'll do 1. And you can see when it is an invalid vhost, it's actually a variety of sizes. So we'll change our FS filter right here. We'll just say anywhere from 250 to 320 will be our FS filter. All right. What am I missing in chat? Hey, thank you, Phil, for saying nice shirt. Hey, sorry, I missed the last week or so. I just got over the flu, but I'm happy to be here. Hey, awesome to have you here, Katie. Really appreciate it. Hey, look at that. We found a vhost. Ha, ha, ha. Storage. That's good to know. Let's see, welcome. Dude, vhost and subdomains confuse me too. Technically, a vhost, you can set it up so it's kind of a different website that shares the same IP. But hey, we have some results here. I usually don't find any vhosts, so I'm actually impressed with that. Let me go ahead and drop that into my vhost fuzzer so we remember to add that to Etsy host and check it out. We can go look at dir search, and dir search has also found a few different things, but it's still running. It's almost done. Let's open up Kaido and just look at the website ourselves. Now, you can use Burp Suite instead if you want. I like to use Kaido on stream because it's a little more affordable than Burp. So we'll do this. We'll create a project for it, and we will call this, what is this, Rabbit Store? And we'll do create. We'll go over to Intercept, open up the built-in browser so I don't forget to turn off Foxy Proxy. Close the extra Kaido window, and let's check out this website. cloudsite.thm. We provide the best and very secure cloud services. I'm sure you do. We have a login button right there. Okay, and that directs us to storage. I see. So that's the vhost that we found, is the login button. We have some potential username enumeration, but they're all named David Canal. So I'm guessing they're not. If we look at the images, oh, we actually do have directory listing on the images, or on the team rather, and on images. So this is something we're going to want to add to our note. This would technically be a finding on a pen test. You don't want to have directory listing enabled. So we'll grab that, go over to our notes, and we'll say directory listing enabled. Yeah, you can use Zap, but the UI of Zap just reminds me of 90s MySpace. I just don't like it, but I'm just shallow like that. So hopefully what you guys are noticing right away is I'm not rushing my way through this. I think often when we do CTFs like this, we have this ingrained into us of first bloods, like how fast can we solve a machine? But the goal is not to solve a machine quickly, at least in my opinion. The goal is to learn something in the process, and to learn, you really need to take your time. So what I'm doing might look boring, but this is what a pen test looks like. You take your time and you look at even the smallest things. So if I was doing a pen test, there's two findings we already have. Finding number one, we have directory listing. This is something you would report on a pen test as like a low finding, that isn't good practice to have that enabled. Finding number two is server enumeration. Once again, good practice is not to show the backend server version, because that can be used by an attacker to find potential exploits. Now, Apache 2.4.52 is relatively up to date. That's probably not going to be the way in, but those are two things you would actually report on a pen test if you were to find them. But okay, we can go ahead and go to our parent directory. We have access to all of the assets. I don't know what the heck this is. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if that's going to be enabled, or going to be helpful for us, but we'll just drop. Whoop, I don't know why I did that. Okay, yeah, I don't want all that extra space. There. I don't know if this path right there is going to be helpful. On the eDrive Smart Eye Consulting 3 HTML assets, but we technically have the path of the web server there. At least I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So if we find like LFI, local file inclusion, or are able to do any directory traversal stuff, we know the actual path of the web server. So that may or may not come in helpful. I have no idea, but worth jotting down in our notes. All right, let's see what else we have here. So we have this SCSS stuff. I don't know if this setup information. So this is just CSS design information. Not going to be super helpful, I don't think. Nope. We can look at plugins. Sometimes you can find vulnerabilities in plugins, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. We have the JavaScript that we could look through, but I doubt that's going to be the way in either. Script.js doesn't have anything interesting. Okay. And images is what we were looking at before. We have images for the blog, parent directory, services. Was there anything about authentication? We know it lives in that other web server, but I'm not seeing it. Daniel, to remove the version of the server being visible, it all depends on what it is, but generally all of them have just kind of a config you can add to make it so it's not visible. Hey, thank you for the kind words, Go Parts. I appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and grab our scan results here. So from our directory scanning, really the only things that, well, there's not really much that stands out, to be honest. That's probably even worth adding. We can grab these three things, I suppose, and we have that contact us, which I don't think I've looked at the contact us page. Let's go ahead and check out that page real quick. Okay, so can we actually send a message? Let's do that. Let's capture this with Kaido and see what this message looks like. Okay, no, it doesn't actually go anywhere. So anytime you can send a message like this, a big thing that you want to check is whether or not you can execute cross-site scripting on the victim. Now, cross-site scripting is code injection, but it's not like remote code execution. Cross-site scripting executes JavaScript in your victim's browser, so you're not attacking the server, you're attacking another person. Now, sometimes, especially in a CTF setting, if we can send a message, we can actually execute JavaScript on the victim, and when the victim opens up our message, we can steal their session cookie or cause them to do some action in their browser that they don't realize that they are doing. So anytime you see a contact form, always plan on checking that, seeing if you can do cross-site scripting. Right there, I was just seeing if I could send a message, and I can't send a message. We also have a little bit of enumeration right here. I really hope this isn't a real website. Oh, it's just like a template for different templates. Okay, other than that, there's really nothing interesting here besides the login form. But to test the login form, we need to add that to our Etsy host file. So we found that with our vhost fuzzer, and we saw it on the website itself. Okay, those are all going to be false positives, but let's do sudo nano Etsy host. And we'll drop down, I think it was storage.cloudsite.thm, right? And let's go ahead and see if that works. Okay, cool. So on storage.cloudsite.thm, we have a login page, and we want to add that to our notes. So I think what we'll do is we'll make another H3, and we'll call this storage.cloudsite.thm, like so, add a code block, and we'll grab a screenshot of this for our notes as well. I like to use flame shot, so we'll go like that. Grab that and drop that in there. And that is really big. We definitely don't need our screenshot to be that big, so we'll make that a lot smaller. Drop it over to the left, and let me see if I'm missing anything in notes. It's hard, not cyber lady. What do you do to relax? So I hang out with my kids a lot. That my hobbies are hacking and hanging out with my kids. I also box. So I go to a legit gym and do semi-hard sparring. I want to one day compete in USA boxing, but I've been boxing for about 5 years. So if anyone wants to spar or fight with me at DEF CON, I'm planning on finding a boxing gym. And anyone who wants to box with me, I'll invite you. You can try to punch me in the face, but I'm going to punch you back. Other thing I like to do is I love reading. So I actually just bought this cool thing. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the new Kindle Scribe. You can use it as a notebook. You can read books on it. You can take notes on the books right on there. And so I really love reading. So those are the things I do for fun. All right, storage.cloudsite.thm. I must say it surprised me the way you organize each piece of the important stuff with Notion. Well, thank you. And this is exactly how I do it for a pen test. Where can I find the free hacking course? You can find it at Simply Cyber Academy. I'll drop the link real quick. Oh, I'll have to check that out, GoPro Slow Yo. But there's the free course if anyone hasn't done it. Truly free, no strings attached. But okay, we have an account login here. One thing to test is whether or not we can do username enumeration. We can also test injection attacks. And I like to jot these down before I test them so I don't fall in any rabbit holes. So we'll say things to test. One, we can test SQL injection. We can also test NoSQL injection. We can test username enumeration. And those are the things to test without even looking at sign up. So let's test those things real quick on the login form. One easy thing is let's go ahead and send this over to Kaido so we can see what the request looks like. We'll hit login. We need an @ so do test@test.com and hit login. All right, and we can go ahead and send this over to replay like so and hit send on here. And we get invalid email or password. So it's really easy to test for potential SQL injection. You can just drop a single quote in there and see if we get a 500 error or a server error, and we do not. So it's likely not vulnerable to SQL injection. So we'll go ahead and cross that out. We can also test no SQL injection, which I know is a little bit confusing, but no SQL is just another type of database. So if we do test@test.com, I think no SQL injection, you actually modify like the email parameter, and we would do something like not equals like so. I think that's the correct format. And we get invalid email or password. So I'm pretty sure it's not going to be vulnerable to no SQL injection as well. So we'll go ahead and cross that off our list. For our username enumeration, we just don't have any users that we know are for sure valid. But what you want to do for username enumeration is whether or not you can get a different response for a valid email versus an invalid email. So if the application's response tells us invalid password instead of invalid email or password, so if it's a different message for a valid user, then that's a finding of username enumeration. You can also do this based on the time. So when we look at the milliseconds down here, this is 1452 milliseconds. Let's say when it's a valid username, it's like 3000 milliseconds, and when it's invalid, it's 1000 milliseconds. And you can determine based on the server's timing response the username is valid. That's also a finding. And I see both of those things on a pretty regular basis when I'm doing web app pen testing. All right, let me look at chat. There's lots of chat. Any hacking book recommendations? This isn't really a hacking book, but I just finished Bill Gates's part 1 of his memoir, Source Code, I think is what it's called. I really enjoyed that. How often do you check web app source code? Not very often. It all depends if the client gives us the source code, but most of the time it's black box testing, not white box. White box is when I would have the source code. So we're not testing for server-side template injection because the input is not reflected on the page. If the input's reflected on the page, we could test for that. Yeah, I do not do write-ups. I don't write write-ups anyways. All right. Some more questions, guys. I'll get back to your questions. Let me just get back into the hacking. I want to see what we all have going on here. Invalid email or password. So none of those things are going to work. I just don't have a good way to test username enumeration, so we'll just cross it off for now. The other thing I noticed is we have a post request to API login. And you know what I didn't do, guys? I didn't run dir search against storage. So let me go ahead and do that as well. We'll run dir search against storage and see if there's any interesting directories. You already see the API endpoint there, so we might find something interesting there. So let me add that to notes. I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. We'll just say dir search, and we'll drop it in there. Anyways, back over to this. We have this post to API login. I always like to try a different request. So if we change it to a GET request, like what happens? Does it just fail? Get method not allowed. Okay, that makes sense. So what if we go back to API? Cannot get API. That's fine. Let's go back. Not found on the server. Okay, so we can't do anything interesting there. Every once in a while when I'm doing a pen test, if I hit just the API endpoint, it might provide me where the API documentation is. We can turn off queuing, by the way. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the sign-up process. So we do have account registration. That's cool. So we're going to be Tyler at hacksmarter.org. My password will be hackedsmarter123, same password I use for my YouTube channel. And we'll turn on queuing, hit register. Send this over to replay because I want to see what this looks like. User registered successfully. So now we could actually test for username enumeration. It's probably not needed for this room, but I'll show you guys what it might look like, because you can actually do username enumeration on this. So we actually have it here. We have confirmed username enumeration on the account registration. You can see that based on the different error message there. So we can grab a screenshot of that, and we will put a red box around that and say we found username enumeration on registration. If we were doing a pen test, once again, this would be a finding. Now, the way to defend against that is just enforce a CAPTCHA or rate limiting, which I know this application doesn't have. If the attacker can't script out the attack to do mass account enumeration, it's not really a vulnerability. But we do have username enumeration there on registration. I'm curious if we also have it on sign-in. So if I do tyler@hacksmarter.org and test as my password and hit login, we get invalid username or password. But on registration, we do have username enumeration. But let's go ahead and log into our account now. hacksmarter123, and let's also proxy this login request just to see what it all does. So we have this request right here, and when I send it, what does it do? It provides us with a JWT, or a JSON web token. Okay, good to know. Let's go ahead and forward that request. And then it sends a GET request to our dashboard, but it says it's inactive. And then does it log us out? Okay, so sorry, this service is only for internal users working within the organization and our clients. If you are one of our clients, please ask the administrator to activate your sub. Ha, I'm a hacker. I am the administrator. But let me go ahead and grab that from replay. So when we log in, we get this request. All right, when we log in, we are assigned a JSON web token, or a JWT. Looking at the website source code, I'll look at it. Every once in a while, I'll be able to find something interesting. Like recently, I was able to bypass, I don't want to give too much away because this is a real application in a pen test. But there was an application that had a feature behind a password, but the password was all being done on the client side via JavaScript, and I was able to see the JavaScript, how it was doing, and write a very simple JavaScript code to bypass our password authentication by looking at the source code of the page. So every once in a while, I'll look at it like that. But okay, we have a JWT, or a JSON web token. Now, if you don't know what a JSON web token is, it's often used for authentication, but there's vulnerabilities that you can use for JWTs if the JWT is not set up properly. And we can try like doing an invalid signature. We can try tampering with the JWT token, and that's actually what we're going to try. But let's first see what is in this JWT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this JWT here, and I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to go to jwt.io. And on here, we're going to go ahead and paste in our JWT. And you can see that it says our subscription there is inactive. And that's why it's saying, hey, you don't have permissions to do this. We also see the expiration time, the initialization time, and the secret, but we don't have the secret. But with this, like I said, there's a bunch of different attacks that we can do. And there's a really good tool that helps with this. I don't remember what it's called. It's like JWT tool hacking GitHub. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's just called JWT tool. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, cool. JWT tool will help automate some of this for us. So let's go ahead and see how to install it. All right, well, git clone, install the requirements. Got it. So I'm going to copy that. Oh, okay. And we have a bunch of things here that's going to be worth looking at. We'll just grab a few of these. All right, before I look at the JWT, let me just look at a few of these. Specifically, I want to look at this package lock.json to see what packages are in use. Those might be helpful for us. Okay. So you generally don't want this exposed to the internet. It's just showing me what package information is in use. I don't think any of these are going to be helpful for us for like exploitation. But yeah, we'll just keep it in the back of our mind. I don't think it's worth taking notes on that. All right, back to our JWT hacking. Let me go ahead and grab this tool. We will git clone, cd into JW tool. Now, anytime you're installing Python tools, you want to set up a Python virtual environment so you don't break all your other packages. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way. To do that, it's a lot easier than it sounds. What we're going to do is Python 3 -m for module, virtual environment, and we'll just call it my environment. And now we're going to source my environment. Is it bin? And then activate. And now you can see by the my env that we are in a Python virtual environment. Now we can do pip3 install-r requirements.txt. Install all the requirements to run the JWT tool. All right, and ls. Now if we Python 3 JWT tool-h, it should run the tool successfully, and it does. So let's see some of the things that we are able to do. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. But we can try these various exploits right here. So we can do exploit, and then we have algorithm none, null signature, blank password, spoof JWKS. We don't have that key confusion. I think there's a way we can do like all the exploits. Let's try this. JWT tool, and then do we specify our option? So let's just do -x for exploit. And we'll pass in our JWT from right here. Okay, apparently you need to specify the exploits. So if I do exploit of A. Okay. So algorithm none, this is an exploit targeting the debug feature that allows a token to have no signature. Now, if this works, then we can modify the token and change ourselves to having a valid token rather than invalid. We'll be able to test it with this request right here, going to our dashboard. And we can go ahead and look at the HTML here. Let it visualize it for us. So let's go ahead and just try this. We'll grab this one right here. Invalid token. So that's probably none of these are going to work. We can try one of these, but I don't think that's going to be the way in. Invalid token. All right, that's fine. So if we look at the other options, I could have swore, if someone knows the syntax, let me know. There's a way that just does all the exploits and gives me all of them. Maybe I can just specify. So we'll do N, B, can't do S. Can I do key? Let's do N and B. Okay, no, I can't do that. We'll try null signature. Okay, that doesn't work. Blank password. Okay. So there's another attack that's a little bit more difficult, but I've done it for a different machine. But technically that machine is not supposed to be public. It's a challenge network for another org. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen. because I'm going to grab my notes from when I did that. But like I said, I unfortunately can't share with you guys all of these notes. But once I get the attack pulled up, I can share the attack with you. So give me just a moment. But this is why notes are important. I remember doing this exact attack. I don't remember how I did it. But because I took notes, I'll be able to figure out how I did it. Where are my notes for this, though? What the heck? Were they in a different Notion? I'm not seeing it. I just said the importance of taking notes, and now I don't see my own notes. Oh, read again the decoded GWT and look at it well. Okay. So maybe what I'm looking at right now is a rabbit hole. I mean, so I see the JWT. I see subscription is inactive, but we can't modify that without having a different exploit. So like if I just change this, it won't work. But there's a way that you can actually brute force the password out of it, as well as some other things. And you know who has good resources on this? Portswigger. When I did it for the other lab, this is where I figured out how to do it. All right, brute forcing secret keys. Some algorithms, such as HS256, use an arbitrary standalone string as a secret key, just like a password is crucial, blah, blah. When implementing JDO, some like blah, blah, they may even copy and paste. We recommend using Hashcat to brute force secret keys. You can install it manually, but it's also blah, blah. So we can try this. So we have our module right there. I'm going to grab this, and we're going to give this a shot. We'll pass it in our JWT. And we'll use user share wordless rocku.txt and give that a shot. You are right on that, but think about how the request is transmitted along with the info. Okay. I have an idea based on what you're saying. If I just change my dashboard to active, does that do anything? Here, let me get back to the correct JWT real quick. Is that the correct one? Yes. Your subscription is inactive. You cannot use our services. No, dude, you're inactive, scrub. About how the request is being transmitted along with the info of the decoded JWT. Hashcat did not crack it, by the way. Well, even though this is probably a rabbit hole, there's some other cool JWT attacks that we can do. Let me look through here. Where is that attack I did? All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment while I authenticate to Hack the Box Academy. This is Rabbit Story. You're not super late, but I'm definitely not going to solve the machine today. I probably won't even get user, to be honest. We're just doing our initial enumeration, taking a look at everything. seeing what interesting stuff we find. All right. I'm using Hack the Box Academy to solve try to hack me. Yeah, so if you weren't here before, I have a setting in my OBS that I meant to fix before streaming, but I forgot, that basically when I switch pages, it looks blurry, but it will fix itself if you give it a second. But I'll fix that in the next stream. So like as I'm scrolling, I bet it looks blurry to you guys. So I apologize for that. Now, I can't show too much of this stuff on here because it is Hack the Box Academy, but I'm just showing how I use their resources to learn. So I'm pretty sure they'll get over it. If Hack the Box, if you're mad at me showcasing a small portion of Academy, let me know, but whatever. Okay, so that's showing what we just did. RS-256 JWT. No, so I don't think this would work because it's not using asymmetric algorithm. We're using exploiting JWK. Okay, no. None of the attacks I thought would work because we're not using the right algorithm. HS-256 instead of RS-256. So yeah, I'll just say, guys, if you've never used Hack the Box Academy, it is an incredible resource. I mean, can I just update this? Doesn't this usually just update automatically? Why is it not? Am I dumb? Usually it just automatically updates it for you when you make that change, but I guess I can do it myself. Oh, because we have all that extra text right there. So we want to change this to active. If I do this, I have an idea. So I'm going to grab this original JWT and we're going to drop it in there. What we're going to change is this, just this part, and keep our signature like so. So then I'm going to grab this information, full thing, paste it up here. We'll go to base 64, change this to active, we'll hit bake. I'm pretty sure this is not going to work. This is not generally the way you would attack a JWT. Nope. All right, registration function. Let's look at the registration function a little more. Maybe we can set ourselves to active. Maybe there's a parameter, some parameter injection that we can do. I think I have it. Oh, I thought I saved the reg. Oh, here it is. Yes. So if we do Tyler 1, and if we do what do they call it? Oh, whoops. Shoot, that was the wrong one. Let me get the right one. subscription. So what if I just change my subscription to active? I maybe was way overthinking that, but hopefully in the process you learned some stuff about JWT. I personally think it would have been cooler if it was a JWT like tampering attack to get access, but I bet now we have access. Let me go ahead and test my theory. Sure enough. All right, let's grab that for our notes. And we'll do this right here. And we will drop it here. I tried various JWT tampering things, which would have been cooler, but was not successful. I got access with parameter injection during registration. And we'll drop a screenshot there. All right, go like so. Drop it over to the left. How are we doing on time? 10:30? Oh, I've been on for like an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to be calling it. Wow, why is there so many people watching? Yo, hi everyone. I just looked over. We have over 100 people watching at 10:30 at night. Clearly, you guys don't have lives like me, but hello, everyone. Real quick self-promo for all you people watching. If you do not sub to me on YouTube, you should. YouTube is my main platform. I do live stream to all these other platforms, so sub to me on YouTube. Additionally, if things are blurry as I'm changing from screen to screen, it's because I have a setting in OBS I broke and I need to fix. So I apologize. It will be fixed later. That's true, the Shy Hat. Hey, good to have you here, Shy Hat, by the way. All right. Anyways, we'll do some little bit of hacking, but I am going to call it a night pretty soon. So once we get logged in, we have a secure file storage thing, upload from localhost. So let's go ahead and grab a screenshot of that, and we'll drop that to our notes. Let's say we have file storage. Man, why so big? Come on, Notion. We'll make that a little bit smaller. We will drop it over to the left side. And let's go ahead and make a list of things that we should check. When we have a file upload, we can first check which files and extensions it allows us to upload. See if we can access the uploaded files. See if we can perform things like directory traversal via file names. All those kinds of things. All right. Let's play around with it a little bit. So go ahead and upload a file. I'm just going to make a file real quick. We're going to make hello.txt. I'll go to try hack me, rabbit store hello.txt. I'm most interested in seeing what this request looks like when we upload the file. We'll select that and click upload. All right, it's a post request to API upload. Scroll down. Is there something on the bottom of the web page? Oh, upload from URL. Oh, interesting. So we have upload from localhost and upload from URL. Grab that in my notes. Oops. We have file upload and URL upload. So let's first just kind of glance at the file upload, and then the URL upload sounds a lot interesting because then we could do SSRF or server-side request forgery. All right, replay. When I upload it, what happens? Image uploaded successfully. So I definitely did not upload an image. Let me turn off our intercept. And I get file not found. Okay, let's very quickly check out the upload from URL. Can we hit our URL first? So do HTTP 10.13.46.224 hello.txt. And we'll open up a basic Python web server and see if we can hit our web server. And we are able to hit our web server. Now, that's not a vulnerability in and of itself because it's sort of intended functionality from what we can see. We might be able to use this to exploit some stuff. So let's see what it does. It gives us a file path. I don't understand this file path thing because it doesn't seem to actually work. Oh, that time I could download it. And it gives me my hello.txt. So with that, can we hit localhost? Let's find out. See our URL parameter there. File stored from URL successfully. Let's grab that. Turn off queuing again. Okay, so we have confirmed SSRF or server-side request forgery. And we also have, like, I didn't remember seeing this before. These developer people, but maybe they were there. I thought they all had the same name, but we have Williamson, Christina from the latest blog, blah, 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 blah. So interesting. With server-side request forgery, I mean, there's a lot of different things that we could do. If we were in a cloud environment, we could try to steal like the metadata credentials for AWS and pivot into their AWS environment. But let's go ahead and just first add this to our notes. I'm just going to copy the request. And we'll say we have geez, things are being slow. I'm making H3 and we're going to call this confirmed SRF on URL upload. So we could port scan, see what is running on other ports. We do have those weird ports that popped up. You guys remember these? I don't even know what this means. I'll be honest with you. EPMD. Erlang Port Mapper daemon. And then something on that. I'm just curious. What happens if I hit that port? Okay, that's what happens. I ended up doing that with the AWS creds. That's amazing. So with SSRF, there's an incredible resource. That's cool. My VM having issues? Like, come on, VM. Don't be slow. Over here at hacktricks.wiki. If you've never heard of hacktricks.wiki, you need to check it out. I noticed their new website, though, is a little bit buggy for me. Like, what is this crap? I just want to see their SSRF page, and it's showing me the MS SQL stuff. Like, when their website was properly indexed by Google, it was so much better, but it's not indexed anymore. See? It doesn't even show up when you Google it. Come on, Hacktricks, step your game up. So we'll look at the hacker recipes. I doubt we can just do file. I mean, this is something you'll see in CTS, but I've never seen it in the real world. But let's try it. Okay, that's what I figured. We could check something like that, although that's not going to be super helpful to us. We could try something like this, though. that may or may not give us command execution, but it's worth trying. We'll pass in our IP instead, 10.13.46.224. All right, nope, that did not work. User agent, so we can try it this way too. Well, no, that won't work with the way our thing is set up. We can try SSRF map. I've used that a few times. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Go over to our terminal. We'll get clone it. We're already in a Python virtual environment, so that should be fine. We're only going to break our own Python virtual environment. And I think with SSRF map, we can grab this request here. Like so. Save it as a request. All right, so we can do -R for request. Request, our parameter is URL, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, we don't need to test everything. I don't think we can just read files because we don't have a way to do that. Yeah, error storing. We can try port scan. Let me try Redis. I don't think that's going to do anything. Yeah, didn't think so. What port scan will do is it will try... Okay, that's not working either. Just showing that every port is open. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. I think this is a good stopping point. We know that we have SSRF that we are going to abuse. We also know one thing that might come in handy is we have this full file path here, but I don't know if that even has anything to do with the machine, honestly. But we have SSRF here where we could look at the code on the app. Maybe we could dig into that, look at different directories, but it's been an hour and a half, and I said I was going to go for about an hour. So I feel like if I keep going, I'll just fall into more and more rabbit holes. So next time I am on stream, we'll jump back into this and pick up where we left off. Let me go over and look at chat and see what I am missing on chat real quick before we find somebody to raid. All right, scroll up. I wonder who you guys keep motivated and stick on your schedule. I'm carried away within a month. What's the tips? One is be part of a community. Have a community of people around you. That's been a big thing for me. But I agree with La Fuerza. If I'm saying that correct, it is discipline. Like, I'm not always motivated to learn, but I build it into my schedule, right? So I stay disciplined and stay consistent to the best of my ability. I want to transition into SOC analyst. I have subbed to TCM security, THM, let's defend. I'm working on it, but feel overwhelmed and procrastinate. Oh, gotcha. You're just chatting. Just scrolling to make sure I'm not missing anything here in chat. Hey, yo, Tyler, can I ask what you thought about the overall Slayer Labs? So Slayer Labs is really cool. If you guys haven't heard of Slayer Labs, I did a few streams about them. I thought the whole concept in the lab platform itself is really cool. It's much more like a real pen test. You have all these different hosts in scope. You have to scan all the different hosts and jump from host to host. The reason I stopped showcasing it on stream is I just didn't find it stream friendly. And if you watch those streams, you'll see what I'm talking about. But because there are so many different hosts and so many different targets, I learned that people were getting lost just trying to follow along, even though I was doing the best of my ability to explain things. So for the purpose of live streaming, I don't think Slayer Labs is a good fit, at least for my channel, but the platform itself I thought was really cool. Let me know if that makes sense. Scroll back up. Scrolling. Do you have a video where you set up all your tools or a list of these tools? I find that you use a lot of those which are not in Kali default. So I actually use a lot of default Kali tools. I don't have anything special when I install Kali. The only special tools I use regularly are dir search, which you can install sudo apt install dir search, and then my vhost fuzzer that you saw me use. And my vhost fuzzer is literally just a wrapper around fuff that you can get from my GitHub. I'll show this to you. So if you don't know my GitHub, here it is. Let me drop it there. And I have this repo called Defensive Security. And here's that vhost fuzzer. It's, like I said, literally just a wrapper around fuff because I always forget the syntax for fuzzing for vhost. But other than that, most of the tools I use are built into Kali. I guess Kaido's an exception as well. You can install Kaido really easily from kaido.io. They have great documentation on installing. I'll drop that in chat as well. Watching you fall into rabbit holes is where the fun is. I suppose so. Well, there'll be more rabbit holes in the next one, I'm sure, for a machine called Rabbit Store. Is Pentester Labs? I've never done Pentest Labs. I'm just scrolling. More video on the CV you found. Maybe one day. All right, guys. Hey, thank you all so much for taking the time to hang out with me. Seriously, really do appreciate it. My plan is to jump back on stream at least next week, Wednesday, likely before then, but next week, Wednesday, we'll also do the drawing for those SLA1 vouchers. I have 2 vouchers to give away. So we'll do the drawing then, and I plan on being back then. But yeah, let's see who else is streaming right now. One incredible website maintained by GoPro Slow Yo. Shoot, I'm the only one on here. But it's InfoSec Stream. So if you guys are new to kind of watching streamers like me, this is an incredible website. Just pull it up at any time. Usually there's at least a handful of people who are streaming, and they're streaming hacking type concept. But it looks like I'm the only one on. So now I have to hunt through Twitch. If you guys have any Twitch recommendations of someone we should raid, please let me know. And also, we have almost 100 people, but they're on different platforms. If you are watching on a platform that's not Twitch, you should come join Twitch and be part of the raid. You don't need a Twitch account to be part of the raid. I just dropped my link to my Twitch channel, Blue Bud Hacks. All right, cool. I don't know who that is, but let's check them out. I'm gonna get Twitch pulled up on my screen real quick. And because I freaking dual boot, it never stays authenticated as I switch back and forth. There we go. Now I'm logged in. All right, let me get this raid set up. He's playing Atari games. All right, cool. Let's go watch him play Atari games. The raid phrase, if you're new to like the whole raid culture on Twitch, you're supposed to have a raid phrase when you join. Our raid phrase is going to be hack smarter, not harder. So once we do the raid, it's hack smarter, not harder. I'll hang out over there in the raid for just a little bit. So thank you everyone for watching. I am going to sign off now, but thank you for being here.